This is, I think, the fourth or fifth time that I've spoken here at the EBCA. I always enjoy it because, number one, I get to see a lot of guys that I see in the field and I've seen in the field in the past. And number two is I enjoy sharing information. Today, I'm going to talk about catching. Some of you guys might know me as a pitching coach, but actually, I was a catcher when I played. So I believe that we need to know a lot about our pitchers being catchers. Okay. Let me explain one thing. I was in India until Thursday night, and I was there for 10 days. And I was teaching the Indians how to play baseball. Now, one thing I saw when I was in India is I saw some kids that could really swing the bat. And there was an influence, obviously, because they played cricket. So, my point by telling you this is, number one, kids, the younger they start, even at a specific position, the better it is. Those kids were good hitters because they swung the cricket bat wherever they could. Okay, I saw kids playing games out in the middle of fields in complete poverty, but they were swinging the cricket bat. They were playing games. So, what my point is I want, when our kids are at the under 12 level, okay, when they're with the ragazzi, they call them in Italy. I don't know what they call them here in Belgium. I think the Menines, is that true? Okay. We want to rotate our players around. We have to rotate our players around from position to position. They have to all be able to pitch, all let them try catching, shortstop, whatever else, wherever else you have to rotate them, but they have to be moving around the field. Number one, it makes it fun. Number two, I can identify the kids that possibly could, in the future, be players that I can count on for my under 15 team. Okay? So, basically, we're going to look for kids that have the characteristics that I need when we're talking about catchers to be able to catch for me. Okay? So, this guy wasn't bad, huh? The reason I put catching, etc., is this isn't just about purely, I'm not going to go over we're going to go over some fundamentals with Chris Howard here, okay, my resident catcher. But we're not going to really dwell too much on the fundamentals. You guys have seen them a lot. Okay, there's one fundamental that I'm going to talk about, which is very close to my heart, which is pitching, okay, throwing, okay, for catchers. But that is going to be probably the only fundamental that I put a lot of emphasis on. It's more about identifying the player, okay, knowing who your best possible catcher could be in the future, okay, and also working him. So let's go forward with this, all right? So I used to scout for the Chicago Cubs. See if I can get this. Okay. I used to scout for the Chicago Cubs. I signed 3 players in all the time that I worked for the Cubs for 9 years, okay? Alessandro Maestri, who pitched in Japan and now pitches for our national team, the Italian national team. Dwayne Kemp, who plays for the Dutch national team. And Alberto Maneo, who is still in the minor leagues for the Chicago Cubs. And the last one I signed was a catcher. Okay? So I really, at the end, knew what I was looking for in a catcher. So, this is going to be a little bit interactive, guys. Okay? Similar to what Steve did this morning. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys and ask you guys what you think. Okay, you as scouts, what are you looking for? Because all of us have to be scouts. All you guys have to be scouts and be able to scout your own players, because you have to put them in a position to have success. So, if we can put them in a position to have success now and in the future, then obviously we're creating some positive influence on the kids, and we're also creating opportunity for the kids. Okay? So, what type of player are we looking for to play catcher? Any idea? Yeah?
Somebody with the understanding of the game?
Good instincts for the game. That's excellent. Good answer. Yeah?
Leadership.
Leadership, okay? Instincts and leadership, 2 extremely important traits, okay? Anybody else?
Good work ethic.
Good work ethic. Willing to stay out there longer than anybody else. Awesome.
Toughness.
Toughness, there we go. You know how many balls that we take off the mask, off the legs, off the hands? I mean, you can ask Chris. During the course of a season, I can't imagine, I didn't play in the big leagues, but I can't imagine catching 140 games in the big leagues and having balls off my shoulders, off my legs, off my hands, and having to continue to play the next day. Okay? So that toughness factor is extremely important for me. You can't have a kid back there that's not going to be really gritty and tough. If you do, you're going to find out that he's not going to be the guy you want when the game is on the line. It's as simple as that. You got to have the guy back there that you know you can count on when the game's on the line. You know he's not going to argue with you or fight with you. He's going to be there, be tough, block that ball in the dirt with a guy in third base, and not even thinking about it. Okay? So that's the type of player we're looking for. We're looking for toughness. We're looking for instincts. Okay? We're looking for a kid that has a good work ethic. Okay? So the next one. Does he have to be a great athlete? Any answers? Does he have to be a great athlete, you think?
Yes.
I would say the answer is, maybe because I wasn't a great athlete, I would say it'd have to be a good athlete. Now, a lot of times you'll see in the United States in the draft, guys are, they draft kids who are shortstops in high school and they will move behind the plate. Or take third baseman and move behind the plate. They're taking better athletes. But over the course of a season, okay, if a guy runs well, if a guy moves well, they are going to slowly deteriorate. Okay, so guys are going to lose speed over time, and guys also are going to be slower in reaction time over time. So we have to take this into consideration. Give me a good athlete that I can teach, that's going to give me the even response all the time, the even playing ability, the ability to play every single day that I ask him to. I'll take that guy. I don't need the greatest athlete in the world. I really don't. Because more times than not, the greatest athlete in the world is not tough, doesn't have good instincts, because it's come really easy for him over time. Okay, that's generally, not everybody. Okay, who's a good athlete in the big leagues right now that catches? Russell Martin is a great athlete. He can play shortstop. Okay, he wanted to play shortstop in the 2009 WBC. And Canada didn't allow him to, so he didn't come and play, which, thank God for us, Marco and myself, we didn't have to worry about him. But that's what happens, okay? He's a good athlete. Another one? Excuse me? Posey's a good athlete. He used to play shortstop. He pitched against the Italian national team in 2004 at the World Championships in Taiwan. So he was not only just a catcher, he was a shortstop and pitcher too. Okay? Other guys? Who? Altuve doesn't catch though.
No, but he's a good athlete.
Great athlete. Okay? Great hand-eye coordination. Probably be a good cricket player. Anyway, anybody else? How about Salvador Perez? He's a pretty good athlete. Okay? But those are only 3 guys, guys. Okay, there's not a lot of tremendous athletes back behind home plate. There are some good athletes, but that's not always. If you can get that, a Posey's an all-star, a Perez is an all-star, and a Martin is an all-star. If you can get a guy that's a great athlete to play behind the plate, then yeah, they're all-stars. Everybody wants that. But that's not always the case, because that's a freaking tough job back there, man. Catching 140 games during a season is a tough job. And you got hot in the heat in the middle of the summer. You're in playing games every day in July and August. Those are the dog days, okay? The dog days. Nobody wants to catch during that time. But the good ones do, okay? What are the tools that he must possess for him to succeed in the future? Tools. Let's grade the tools. We're scouts again. We have to look at our players. We have to decide who are the guys who are the guys that have the right tools to catch. What's the most important tool? First one. Receiving. Okay, catchers are receiving. You got to receive the ball. They have to have good hands. That's the first thing. I've seen many catchers, and especially now, you know, with the pitch framing thing, and everybody's got percentages on strikes that they take away from the umpire. It's even more important now, especially the big league clubs. And our objective should be to get our guys signed if possible, right? I mean, or go to college. But those got to be our objectives here in Europe. That's the only way we're going to be able to grow the game here. Okay? So, we have guys that have good hands. Second one.
Good feet.
Good feet. Those go together. Those are the defensive side. Okay? Then, good knees. Mine don't work anymore, but that's true. Another one? Somebody said a good arm. That's the number one. That's the number 2 tool. So we got defense and then arm. All right? Those are the first 2 tools. What's the 4th tool? 3rd tool, sorry. There's 5 tools now. 6 actually. Leadership. That's true. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that's true. Intelligence is another part of it, but it's still not the word. We call it makeup. The makeup of an individual, the characteristics, the character he has, okay? The intelligence he has, okay? The instincts he has. That's the 3rd most important tool after the first 2. Because you can't play catcher without those 3 tools. What's the 4th tool? Hit. Hit tool is the 4th tool. So that's pretty far down the line. So if I'm looking at guys, they don't have to be great hitters. I would love for them to be good hitters, but that's not one of the prerequisites. That's not the first 3, because if I don't have the first 3, the 4th doesn't matter. 5th tool. Power. Guy hits 10 home runs, that's good enough for me in the big leagues. Got guys that don't now, they're hitting a lot more home runs, but 10 home runs is enough for me. Okay? And what's the 6th tool? Excuse me? Was it feet or speed? Speed, right. Running. I don't care if they're not great runners. I don't care. Because over time, up and down, get your knees, okay? Up and down the whole time, when you're playing games during the season, you're eventually going to lose your speed. So that's not going to be a tool anymore for me. Okay? You see that many, many times from the guys in the big league. Those tools don't last. The running tool does not last. So I want to have the first 5. The first 3 are fundamental. So when you're looking at your players, you're trying to decide, where should I put this kid? Should he be catching, or should he be playing center field, or should he be pitching, or should he be playing first? Those 3 tools have to be there if you want to put him behind the plate. If not, you're going to do him a disservice. You're going to play him out of position. And that's not good. Not good at all. Okay? All right. What is the 6th tool without which our guys have little chance for success? Now, it's not running. We call it the tools. There's only 5 tools. Okay? Hitting, throwing, defense, power, and run. But the 6th tool, if the guys don't have that makeup tool, forget it. Forget it absolutely. You know, we've had guys in Italy through the academy system that have been really, really, really good players. They had pretty good hands, but they didn't have that last tool. And that last tool is fundamental. And we'll see why. Okay? Questions so far? It's pretty clear? Okay, who's the guy on your team that could be a catcher that has those characteristics? Yeah.
I coach under 15, so I have a
That's fine.
really cocky kid with stuff, and he is not afraid of blocking, catching ball. He's anxious to throw to bases.
Now the question, can he catch?
Yes.
He can catch, but he can really catch. He's got terrific hands. Terrific hands.
We're working on it, but yes. he can
Okay.
catch.
That's one of the most difficult things to teach, is hands. Okay? The only way I've been able to do it over time is to lock a guy in a batting cage with a key and a lock on it, and turn the pitching machine on. And he catches balls after balls after balls after balls until he finally gets it. In fact, I have my guys, okay, at the academy, catching batting practice. You don't have that happen a lot here. They don't catch a lot of balls, of course, because hopefully our hitters hit it. But they will, over the course of BP, catch 15 or 20 balls. And that is going to be good practice because they're starting to get their hand in front of the ball. Okay? But I do. That's been a lost art. Because when I grew up, everybody was catching BP. But it doesn't happen anymore. You know, it's just been a lost art completely. Okay. Catchers or receivers first. Here's what I got you, Chris. Okay? Receivers first. We have to have soft hands. So, first thing I'm going to ask Chris to do is get it down to his stance, and he's going to explain to me his regular stance with nobody on base. And again, I'm just going to go over this real quick. If you have any questions, let me know. regular stance with nobody on base. He's got his feet underneath a little bit wider than his shoulders. His toes are pointing out. His left foot is a little bit forward. His right foot is back. This is a little bit less than the classic position, but for me, that is enough for my catcher if he's comfortable. The key to catching and being there all game long is to sit there in a comfortable position where you can receive the ball. That's all I care about. Of course, I don't want them, you know, some guys will put their right knee down, you can stand up. Some guys would, you don't have to do that? God, these are so good, man. Some guys will put their right knee down to give a better target to the pitcher. I don't mind that with nobody on base, but I obviously don't want to do that with guys on base. But if you want to get down on one knee, that's fine. As long as you give a good target for the pitcher, okay? Now, it could be the right or the left. Now we got the signals. Chris, how are we going to do the signals? Tell me.
Well,
Explain it to me.
what you start with is you just stand regularly.
Right?
Feet a little, basically shoulder width.
Right?
You just go down, chest up. You need to protect your sign. Either you can put the glove on the side or just have it hanging over your leg. You give the sign to do it, always do it right in front of your cup. You take the inseam of your pants and bring it in all the way to your cup. There you give your signs.
Not down, not up. You're always down. Now, the reason I asked Chris, obviously, is because he came with me many years at the MLB Academy, okay, that we worked at in Terania, and he was with us for 3 years? 2 years. So we worked every day on this, so I can sort of like lean on him and let him explain it to you. But one thing I would like for you to do is get down again. The one thing that I see in young players, young catchers, the one thing, always, okay? Actually, there's two. First one is they're too low with their signal, so you'll see them down here with their hands. So your hand has to your wrist has to fit like right in that crease there between your thigh and right over, yeah, right there. And then you want to get your glove, if possible, on the side of your left leg, so actually your forearm is right here, so you can cover this. Okay, those are the first. Because let me tell you, okay, I'll steal signs from the third base box or from the first base box if I'm allowed to, and I will try. I mean, we played against the French in the under-23 championships, and we were trying. I asked the third base, can you see the signals? Can you see the signals of the first base guy? Because if I can get that advantage for my team, I'm going to take it. If you don't know how to give signs, it's not my problem. Okay, it's your problem. So I will steal signs. Okay, it will happen. Yes, sir.
What is going to the sign stealing? The easiest way to protect it as a catcher is make sure that your knees are pointing at the second baseman and at the shortstop. And what I did was, when I was still playing, I turned my right knee in even more.
Good idea.
Block out the first base coach and especially the base runner. The good base runner is going to get off the base. He's going to look at the pitcher and he's going to be peeking in. So you got to block him out. That's easy if you just turn the knee in a little bit.
Excellent. That's excellent. I mean, I can't explain that any better. All right. Okay. Now we went through the stance. Let's show the stance with the guy on base.
Stance with the guy on base is pretty much the same for me as it is without anybody. The only difference is you become a little wider in your stance with your feet. It's not this, it's just right here, and you bring your butt up.
A lot of times, guys, okay, this is good, perfect. And you'll see Chris, his right foot, okay? His right foot's a little bit open. Why? Because sometimes guys are sort of teaching to stay a little bit more straight with your feet. If you keep your right foot open, you're going to get to your spot when you're trying to having to throw a little bit faster. So you won't have to turn this foot completely from here to here. It's going to be more of a little slide there. So that's why he was doing that, which makes him a lot quicker with his feet.
Not only that, for me it's not doing this as much, it's more for blocking. So when my feet are pretty straight, I gotta first to go down the block, I gotta open my feet to go down. And I'm already here, all I can do is
Good.
drop down.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay. Those are all the stances. The key about receiving, this is the fundamental thing. And when we talk about receiving, we're talking about the guy, the catcher being able to get to a spot before the ball. The best pitch framers are there in a spot before the ball gets there, okay? So if I'm going to throw the ball, I'll come down here, Chris. You get right in the middle there. Okay, so can you see?
No.
All right, come on this way, this way. Here we go. That's good enough, okay? So Chris has got now a good position. We did mention this, but when we have nobody on base, we're going to put our hand right. You guys know all this. You've seen it before, okay? We're just going to reiterate the fundamentals. Now, what Chris wants to do is get to the spot before the ball. So he's going to get to the spot before the ball, you right? Okay, he's going to get to the spot before the ball. So he wants to be there. Saw a little mistake there. Don't get that elbow out too far.
Better?
Yeah. I have to come and give you instruction every once in a while if you want to start catching again. Okay, so that's it. We're trying to get the ball to a spot, or get the glove to a spot before the ball gets there. Simple. Simple stuff. Okay? But it's so fundamental, if you want to be a good receiver, that if you don't do it, you got no chance. Okay? Another thing, all right? When we catch the ball, if possible, we want to keep our fingers on top. All right? Why do I say that? A lot of guys, when I was growing up, we would catch the ball like this, with our fingers slightly to the right. But nowadays, when you know, you're starting to see umpires that they look for your hand. If your hand's pointing up, they'll give you that pitch. If you start turning your hand, they're not going to give you that pitch. Very simple, okay? Same way on this side. If I can catch a ball over here, I'm going to catch it this way, and it's going to be like an angle going out to my right, okay? Out towards the ball. Show them, Chris. Yep. Okay, you want to catch it with your fingers on top? There, okay? Get your fingers on top. There, right there. Want to keep it out a little bit in front of our body so we can follow the ball. We don't want to have to catch the ball so deep, okay, so deep and close to our body that we have to drop our eyes. Want to keep the ball out in front of our eyes so we can see it. It's like the same thing we talk about as infielders. Okay, we want to catch the ball out front. Simple. Good. Go out here. See that angle? That angle. That time, Chris is starting to straighten his arm out a little bit too much. I don't like completely straight. I like it to stay a little bit bent. Okay? Why? Because I'm more flexible, and if a ball moves on me at the last minute, I can make an adjustment. Okay? Good. That's much better. Hey, we learn every day. Learn new things every day. Okay, good. Now, yeah. Good. Awesome.
That's one pitch where most catchers either will turn their hand or bring their elbow up.
Chicken wing, it's called.
Yes. What I tell my catchers, you don't turn your hand as long as your elbow can stay down. As soon as that elbow comes up, you got to turn your hand.
Right. Exactly. It's out of the strike zone. Very good. Now, so we have importance to be able to receive. Okay? Get down again, Chris. When you're receiving, his head stays still. Okay? I don't want the umpire to see him move one way or the other. Some coaches at one time were teaching that you have to get your head in front of the ball. I don't believe that. Okay? I believe the head's got to stay straight and still, and you can receive the ball. Okay? Receive the ball. The hands have to be with the fingers on top. All right? The feet are going to be in a comfortable position. So, now we'll go to the drills. Okay? These drills, we're going to do these every day. Every day. Let me have a glove for a second. Do the bare hand drills. Okay? So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to have no glove. Okay? We're going to have Chris just catch the ball with his hands. They get a better feel for this at the beginning if you follow this progression. Okay? They're going to get a good feel being able to catch the ball in their fingers. Okay? If possible, they want to catch it in the palm. They want to catch it in their fingers. Okay? We'll do this probably 10 or 15 times, rotate twice. That's the first drill. Just to get them to feel comfortable with the ball. All right? Just feel comfortable with the ball. Now the second drill is we use this a lot for transfer, and I don't have one here, unfortunately, because I didn't bring one from the academy. But do you have one? Yeah, can I use it for a second? Oh, you guys are awesome. Do I have to buy it?
No.
Okay.
I hope you can win it.
Well, with me. There you go. Okay, so what we do with this, excuse me? Stand up. Okay, what we're going to do with this,
Sponsors, by the way, one of our sponsors, Diamond, if you're thinking of buying them.
those things are fun. These things for catchers and for infielders are fundamental. Okay, if you don't have 2 or 3 or 4 of these in your bag at practice, you're not going to be able to work properly, because this forces you to be able to use your hands right. And for ground balls, it's fundamental because it sort of helps you with the funnel. Okay, are we still teaching the funnel, Sean? Okay. But the thing is what we try to do is we try to use a flat glove to force these guys to use our hands properly. Okay, so what we're trying to do is when he catches a ball. Okay, now watch what Chris did. This is really, really important. Okay, I didn't give him a good ball to get. A real good ball. Let's go here. There, baby. Okay, so what he's doing is he's turning his hand, okay, into the pitch. So when you're catching the ball, you're going to catch the ball while your hand's moving this way to be able to give your hand access, okay, your throwing hand access to the ball. So I'm going to catch the ball and then I'm going to turn my hand in. I'm not going to bring my hands back. Okay, I'm going to turn it in. I'm going to have to try to make everything happen out in an imaginary box out in front of my body. Everything's going to happen out here. Why? Because number one, I don't start to tie myself up by being too close to my body. And number two is I'm going to be able to see the ball. I see the ball. I see it out there. I can do that. I'll make the transfer here. I don't want to pull my glove all the way back. The kids, what they'll do is they'll bring it to about right here. And we can live with that. But we don't want to start bringing the glove back. So the flat glove sort of forces them to make that transfer outside, out in front. Okay? Very good. Pretty good at that. Head baby. Now. Okay. So, that's a flat glove. That's all we do. We do that and we'll incorporate the throw. At the end, we'll incorporate the footwork. I'll talk about the footwork in a second. Okay? But that is the reason for the flat glove. So those are 2 of the fundamental drills that we have to incorporate in our practice. Me, personally, I would do this every single practice. If you have 2 catchers, you can take your guys and they can just do these drills on their own. But if you guys do it for 10 minutes every day, that you have practice, I know we don't practice every single day, but even if we did practice every single day, I would do this. Have our catchers work on these 2 drills right here. After you go to the bare hand, from the bare hand, you can go to the glove. And you can use the glove in the same way. It's just another addition to what we're trying to do with our hands. We got to create guys that have good hands to be able to catch. They're receivers first. Especially nowadays with the new framing stuff. Okay, so catching bullpens. We catch bullpens with an intent, with an objective. We're catching bullpens to try to make sure we frame for the pitcher properly. Make sure we block low balls. So it's going to be a game situation of the bullpens. It's going to be just like a game, but we're going to treat it like a game. All right? None of that bullshit where they start freaking fooling around and not doing the right things. They have to have discipline during the bullpens if they want to be better receivers. All right? Next thing, catching BP. Catching BP to me is fundamental because, number one, they're back there, they're forced to try to start getting their glove in front of the ball before it gets to their glove. And number two, they can start blocking low balls that are in the dirt. BP pitchers, and at least in Italy, okay, not Marco because he threw pretty good BP, but some of the other guys sometimes bounce the ball in the dirt. And if they do bounce the ball in the dirt, I want the guys blocking the balls. Okay, so I do have them catch BP. They might catch maybe a round of 2 or 3 guys and then out. But if we start making them, forcing them to catch BP, they will start incorporating some of these fundamentals we're talking about into their daily plans. And then the last thing is daily drills. I already explained why I do that. That's a daily thing. We do these drills every single day. Questions? Everything's pretty clear? All right, let's go to the next one. Good job, Chris. Throwing. Throwing is overlooked and undercoached. Catching, throwing is undercoached completely. Nobody ever talks about how a catcher should actually, what kind of mechanics he should have. That is ridiculous. We expect that guy to put the ball on the bag, on the money, in 2.0 seconds or less, right? But if we never work with him on throwing mechanics, how are we going to create a catcher? All right? And there are throwing mechanics for catchers just like there are for pitchers. So catchers and pitchers should mirror each other. I truly believe that. I'm a pitching coach, yes. But the same fundamentals that the pitcher has, the catcher should have. The exact same fundamentals. Sure, some balls where they're going to catch the ball out here, they're not going to have the same fundamentals. You get a guy that throws a ball up and in on a right-handed hitter, you have to catch it and then you got to start to make. But the fundamental in itself is going to be the same. Okay? Primary ability transfer to footwork. Okay? First thing is, get the ball. Chris, let me see the ball. Let me see the ball. You see the ball? See? You did it right away. Because it's a quarter turn. All we want to do is we could have 4-seam, we could have 2-seam, we could have 4-seam, we could have 2-seam. It's always a quarter turn. So when I'm trying to take the ball out of my glove, I'm trying to make sure that I have 2 seams. 2 seams on top and the seam on the bottom. So if I throw the ball up, this is what I'm going to do. While I'm bringing the ball back, I'm going to try to get 4 seams. I'm not going to throw with the seams, but I want to get 2-seam or 4-seam grip at least to make that ball go as true as it possibly can to second base. First thing, it's a quarter turn. It's not that tough. We used to do this. I would do this when I was a kid, all the time, just trying to get the 2 seams. Okay, all the time. Of course, you have to learn it. It's not easy to try to grip all the time. What Chris isn't doing though is when he's grabbing the ball, he's not really. You want to be able to almost hook those seams. All right. You want your fingertips over the seam. You don't want them behind the seam. Better. All right. We talked about transfer out front, all right? Transfer has to happen out in front. We already talked about turn our hand in, all right? That's important. Proper arm action. How many types of arm action are there? Different types, different for positions. Anybody know? One type? Second type? No, I don't know the first one, I know the second one. 2 positions throw the same way, okay? Or 2 different players do, okay? Infielders, catchers. Tomorrow we're going to talk about this with Martin Bruner. We're going to talk about actually when we do the throwing drills that we are going to work on our natural arm swing. Because when I was a kid, okay, here's what they used to teach us. Okay, bring your elbow back to the wall, right? Okay. Now this was not a good idea. Because what that did is that created a lot of external rotation when I threw. And the second highest incidence of Tommy John surgery after pitchers are the catchers. So I want to make sure it's a little pendulum swing back. Pendulum swing back. Don't bring your elbow back like this. I have a slap tear in my shoulder because of that. All right? Not good. So we have to make sure it's a little arm swing and a pendulum swing. I call this a pendulum swing. This is the infielders and catchers. This would be the pitchers and outfielders. Longer arm swing. Okay? Proper arm action. Throwing mechanics. Now, our throwing mechanics, here you go, Chris. I'm going to have you simulate, and then I'm going to look and see if you did it right. All right? So you're throwing to second base. Okay? You're in a good solid position. Okay? Catching the ball out front. Okay. Now, do it again. Good. You saw 2 things that Chris did that were perfect. Number 1, Steve Jansen today talked about where our weight needs to be. Okay? He talked about how our foot has to be, heel has to be on the ground, right? Okay? That's the same thing with catchers. You can't be on the ball of your foot when you're going out towards second base because obviously you're not going to be stable and you're not going to have, this right leg is going to be completely out of the mix. So when you're taking your first step, when I load, like Martin was talking about load and Steve was talking about load, the catchers are no different. Okay, catchers are no different. Ready? Load. Okay, so he's going to load on that back foot. He's going to make sure his right knee is inside his right foot. The same thing that Marty said. Exactly the same. But we never teach this. Tomorrow we're going to go over the throwing program, and for me, okay, as an instructor for pitchers and catchers and whoever else is in front of me that day, I am going to have a throwing program for every position. That's the only way that you guys are going to create the proper mechanics to be able to throw the ball and not have any injuries. It's really simple, okay? Now, last thing is, we have arm swing, arm swing. I wrote down front knee and back hip. Front knee and back hip is going to be, so I'm going to pull my backside forward using my left side. That's going to give me a strong axis of rotation on my left side. And I'm going to finish with my back hip. So I'm going to be, when I finish, just like a pitcher finishes, exactly the same way. This isn't a perfect world. You might see guys in the big leagues that don't do this exactly. All right? But if I'm going to teach my young catchers the proper way to throw, this is how I'm going to teach them. Okay, they're going to take a little jab step here, here. Okay, when they get to foot strike, boom, and then they finish. Simple. And tomorrow we will explain it in more detail. Okay? All right. Chris, I think you're done. Do you have anything to add? Oh, we're going to do blocking. That's right. Sorry. Now, what I do, how much time do I have left, Tom?
10 minutes.
Okay. What I do with our catchers, because what I'm trying to develop is first step quickness with the catchers, right? Because the catchers have to have first step quickness. That's it. If they're quick with the first movement, they're going to get to a lot of bunts, a lot of pop-ups, and a lot of low balls. But if they are not quick with the first step, they're going to have problems. And this little thing right here, it's called a resistor band. Fits on both ankles. And this is going to work my hips, and it's going to force me to go and use my hips more efficiently, and also give me a great workout for my hips and strengthen my hips and my core. All right? So we do our drills, the bunts, blocks, and even the pop-ups, and even our throwing drills sometimes with that. All right? So we're going to get a block in front. Is not going to be efficient on that. This one, block. Nice and easy. There you go. Good job. Okay, now stay down there a second. Okay, now explain the position you're in right now, Chris.
Well, first thing that I do is I try to shorten the distance between where the ball bounces and where I block it.
Excellent.
The third of my chest is back. The higher angle the ball's going to have and hit me, has a chance to hit me in a spot where I don't have control over it. So that's why I come forward with my knees. I try to get the ball to hit me in my stomach more soft.
A lot of times I tell kids, you know, if you're real hard, because they have a tendency when they go down to be really hard. Well, when they're down in that blocking position, to blow out. They try to relax. Because the harder you are behind the ball, the further away from you it's going to go. Okay? Then we got the ball over here. One more thing? Huh? Okay, go.
So, glove, protecting the 5-hole, right hand behind the glove, chin to the chest, and turning the shoulders in. That's also a big thing. So if the ball does come up, my shoulders are in, they hit, and the ball stays in front of me. If I'm here, the ball's going to hit me, go to the backstop.
So you actually try to push your scaps out so you make a little bit of curve in your back.
Big pillow.
Just big pillow. So it's like having a big pillow in front of you. The thing is though, and this, many times I've seen guys do it, okay? They go down and block a ball and you see their eyes go down and they're looking at the ground, okay? And they don't raise their eyes. Once you're in front of the ball, you're not going to be able to follow it that last 2 feet. So you got to have your eyes up even though your chin's down. So after you do block the ball, you're able to see where the ball bounces. Okay, because many times you're going to stop guys from taking an extra base because you're up and ready to throw right away. Okay? Ball to your right.
You want me to go slow?
Yeah. Explain what you're doing.
Well, as soon as I see a ball to my side, I got to shift my weight. And what I do is I push off the outside leg. So if the ball's to the right, I'm going to first bring my glove over, because the glove's going to help my body to follow, and push off my left leg, come around a little bit. It's not a big turn, it's just a little turn. And then it's the same position as before.
The key to what Chris said was a push with the opposite foot. You're never as efficient moving to your right or moving to your left if you're pushing off the foot in the direction that you're going. All right? So you got to use the opposite foot. That's why we use the elastic, the tubing, to try to build up a little bit of quickness. We're resisting, we're overloading to try to make it easier when you actually don't have the elastic tube behind you. Okay? Good? Anything else you want to add? Okay?
Well, first thing that has to move if you block a ball is your glove. First thing.
Glove moves the body. That's how it is. That's why this morning the answer was gloves, the first thing to move. Okay, go. Ball to your left. Same thing. Okay, same thing. Push with the right. Drop with the left. Make sure your glove goes down first. Your glove's going to lead your body. Because even if you don't get over in front of the ball completely, you got your glove over there where you think the ball is going to bounce. You might be able to knock it down. Okay? Ball after you blocked it. And then get up. Yep. Good. Now, hold on. Stay there a second. Okay? Go right there. See, in this position, I want glove a little bit higher. I want the shoulders a little bit higher. He's in a pretty good position here. Okay? He's a little bit too much on his front foot. We want to do the same loading that we talked about when we were talking about with the pitchers this morning and also with the hitters. It's the same concept. All right? Same concept. Good job. All right. Okay. Bunts. 3 different bunts, right? We got 3 bunts. Got the one to your left, and I'm going to move them. Okay? 3 minutes. Almost finished. One for each bunt. Go this one down the line. Third base line. Good. Okay? He's going to go around the ball to his left, and I'm teaching my guys, and Chris doesn't know this, but I'm teaching our guys at the academy, when they get to this ball right here and they pick it up, I want them actually to do a little jump hop to get their feet in line. Because we have a tendency when we do this and open up, we have a tendency to fly the ball to the right side. All right? So I want to make sure that I gather with my hands, gather, jump hop, and be ready to throw. All right? Next one, in the middle, easy. Easy one, first base over there. Go a little bit around the ball to the left side of the ball. Just enough so we can get ourselves in line so that when he put his foot down, his right foot, he was already in line to throw the ball. So we want to stay a little bit to the left side of the ball. Okay? This one's going to be the first base line. Go. We got to get out. Okay? Got to get out of the baseline. Now, next one is, okay, we got a ball on the third base. We got a ball we blocked. There's a runner on second. He's going to go to third. Okay? Okay, you don't want you to go off the stage, man.
Come on.
Good. So go straight at it. All right? Good. Okay, any questions on that? Easy stuff. Okay? Pop-ups, I'm going to be real quick on that. All right? Pop-ups. I'm a right-handed batter. Come on over here. I'm a right-handed batter. If you forget I taught you this, man, I'll never forget you. Okay, right-handed batter. Pop-up. What do you do the first thing you do? What about your hat? What about your mask? Take it off or leave it on? Okay, so what are you going to do? Go. Okay, good. This is okay, but it's not what I want. You forgot. Okay? I want those guys to be quick because the problem is, how many balls have you got you pitchers see that they didn't catch because they didn't turn around fast enough? So when as soon as I see that ball off the bat and I know that it's going to be up, I'm here. Boom. I'm going to get myself in a position as quickly as I can so I can be reactive to the ball and go to the ball. Right-handed hitter, he went to his right. Perfect. Perfect. Left-handed hitter, opposite. Why do we go to the left side? We're lefty and right side for the righty. Why? Anybody know? The chances are, if a right-handed batter fouls a ball off, it's probably 90%, 80, 90%, 70%, somewhere in that, where the ball's going to go to the right side. And the same with the left-handers. Okay? Questions? All right. I got a couple more things, Tom, and then I'm done. Okay, leadership traits. I'm going to go through these real quick. If you guys want to look at these things or have this presentation, You can talk to Tom, you can talk to Chris or anybody else. Willing to sacrifice for the team. Controls a pitching staff. This is what I think is most important because obviously I'm a pitching coach. Works with the pitching coach. That's another thing. Okay? Second coach on the field. Vocal leader. This guy's got to be a vocal leader. He's got to be able to talk. He's got to be able to let everybody know how many outs there are. What are you doing? Pitcher, get over. You got double play over there. Sets an example for the 8 players in front of him. He's the only player that sees all 8 players in front of him. The only one. So he's got to make sure that what he sees, if a guy's over too far on the line, he knows the hitter, he's got to move him over. You got to take command. Taking command and presence is fundamental. Okay, and the last one is he buys into our culture. Okay, buys into our culture means that he's going to follow what we say. Now we go back. This is a durability. We talked about the guy has to be tough. Doesn't complain. He'll go back there and catch a bullpen whenever you need one. I love those guys. Okay, and he is one of the leaders, the adders. Okay, last thing I'm going to give you guys, the last absolute thing. Promise, Tom. We have 3 types of players on our team. We have adders, we have subtractors, and we got neutrals. So, your catcher has to be an adder, somebody that adds value to the team. You can't have too many subtractors because if you have a subtractor, they're going to subtract or take away value from the team. And the neutrals, doesn't matter. You could have, some days it could be adders, some days it could be subtractors. On a championship team, you have to have an adder behind the plate, and you also have to have more adders than subtractors. All right? You guys get that? The translation went all right? That's it, guys. Thanks for your attention. Appreciate it.